Before a modern skyscraper is cleared for construction, structural engineers demand a stress test. They design a rigorous simulation where the core support beams are actively pushed to the point of collapse. 4,000 years ago, this exact same engineering principle was applied to a biological architecture plan. The creator designed a massive framework meant to establish the legacy of a single man, Abraham. The design plan was enormous. Abraham's legacy was supposed to expand outward into a multi-generational network matching the stars in the sky. The projected future narrows down to a single point. Every promised generation depends on the survival of one node, a son named Isaac. To verify the integrity of the design, God issues a chilling command in Genesis 22. Abraham is told to take this singular node, his only son whom he loves, travel to the land of Moriah and offer him as a burnt sacrifice. Moriah is a mountainous region historically identified as the future site of Jerusalem's central temple. The system designer deliberately applies an extreme load to the exact point where the plan is most concentrated. To guarantee the structural integrity of a limitless future, the foundation must prove it can survive a catastrophic pressure test. To this command, Abraham's response is immediate, mechanical compliance. He rises early in the morning, saddles his donkey, gathers his men, and forcefully cleaves the wood for the offering. He steps away from the safety of his sprawling encampment and begins a punishing 3-day physical march toward the exact coordinates God provided. On the third day, the mountain appears in the distance. Here, Abraham deliberately isolates his variables. He commands his young men to wait behind with the donkey, taking only the boy to worship. As they walk, Isaac points out a glaring flaw in their operational logic. They carry the fire and the wood, but they lack the actual lamb required for the sacrifice. Abraham inputs his own hypothesis into this failing equation, telling his son, God will provide himself a lamb. By leaving the servants behind, Abraham removes any external mechanism for rescue. A true stress test requires stripping away every safety net to measure the isolated strength of the core component. They reach the peak of Mount Moriah. Abraham builds an altar out of stone and arranges the chopped wood in precise mathematical order. The full weight of the test is finally applied. He binds Isaac, hoisting his entire future onto the altar and placing him directly atop the wood. The tension hits absolute maximum. Abraham stretches out his hand and grasps the knife to slay his son. At this exact threshold, human reasoning breaks down completely. The only operational code left functioning is pure, unconditional obedience to the system designer. Then comes the hard system override. The angel of the Lord calls out from heaven, instantly halting the execution. The voice from heaven answers, For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me. The Creator immediately provides a substitute to complete the required protocol. Abraham looks up and spots a ram caught by its horns in a nearby thicket, offering it up in place of Isaac. Abraham permanently tags this geographic coordinate with a new name, Jehovah-Jireh. Jehovah-Jireh is a Hebrew phrase translating to, the Lord will provide, logging this location as a permanent historical data point. The sudden halt clarifies the trial's specific intent. The system designer sought definitive proof that the primary foundation would hold under maximum pressure. Because the core held under the load, the Creator authorizes the infinite scaling sequence. The angel speaks a second time, swearing by the Lord's own authority. The first metric of the promised scale is exponential multiplication. Abraham's legacy will expand to match the sheer density of the stars in heaven. The second metric guarantees physical expansion. His descendants will cover the earth like the sand upon the seashore, possessing the gates of their enemies. This massive cosmic promise immediately grounds itself back in physical reality. Abraham returns to his men and journeyed to dwell among the stone wells of Beersheba. a vital desert outpost and primary home base for the early biblical patriarchs. A foundation cannot be trusted until it is pushed to the edge of failure. Only an uncompromising core, proven under extreme stress, is capable of supporting a limitless future.